Hey, welcome to The Forge. My name is Nick Edwards, where this is all about instilling the values and the culture and the strength of Forney Fence to everyone in the organization. This is all about helping you to be better as we grow together. And so today we're going to continue in our journey. This is actually episode number 3 as we continue to move forward, learn, grow, and get better together. Thanks for joining us on The Forge. All right, Ralph, we are in episode number 3 where we're looking at the Forge. We're talking about what's to come for the company. Last week, I got to sit down with Rex, just talking about vision and where the company came from, where it's going. I know as brother, you get to kind of be on the front lines of that in so many different ways. What do you think about as we're looking forward to moving the Forge forward?
Yeah, it's been amazing to introduce this to the leadership of the company and then go around to people like Elizabeth and gain support and talk up to them about what this is and the vision for this, to tell the story of the people in our company that live well and care well and love well people in our company. Just to be able to tell those stories and have them tell the stories is the vision for this. And then to use it internally to grow our company, grow the people in our company. It's exciting.
It's really going to be great. And, I'm so grateful to be part of this journey. And as we just continue to invest in those who are investing on the front lines and investing in other people on the team, it really it's going to be a great journey and great things to come. Elizabeth, thank you so much for joining us today as we started this journey. And so there's going to be a lot more of you that are on this, but Elizabeth, thank you so much for being
Can I just say one thing before we get started about that? So I told JB, Elizabeth is my first pick to start this.
Absolutely. We talked about that.
And JB said, well, you're going to have to sell that a little bit because she's not sure about it. So
I'm a little nervous.
All weekend long, I was praying and thinking and writing down notes and, okay, this is how you're going to tell her and this is what you're going to ask her to do. And so anyway, but she'd already had time to think about it.
Yes, I am happy to be here.
So we talked about a few things. I'm going to actually throw a little bit of audible at you. I want to hear a little bit from Liz, and then I know you have some special things that you want to be able to share. Liz, we are grateful that you are here being part of the Forge, and I know that your heart is to invest in others and help them be at their best. Why don't you take us a little bit, as Forney Fence continues to grow, 5 locations and more team added every week, that not everyone knows you. So tell us a little bit about who you are, family, how long you've been at Forney Fence, what's your title and what's your position?
All right. I'm Elizabeth Meraz, operations manager. I've just celebrated my 1 year at Forney a month ago.
Congrats on that.
Thank you. It went by super quick, which is awesome. I started off in hospitality management. I was in the restaurant industry for 7 years, wanted a more stable schedule, but needed something where I wasn't going to get bored in an office all day. So I went into telecommunications, did the drawings and the schematics and BOM material list for reconstructing, demoing, and the restoration of cell phone towers. And then found...
Did you know this?
No,
I feel like there is this whole level that has been missing. Yeah.
There's another whole session.
Yeah. I've got so many more questions. All right, keep going. I'm sorry.
And then found my way into fencing when that company the owner left that company, and I just didn't like the direction of new management. So found Benford, was at Benford for 3.5 years, where they had gotten bought by a bigger corporation, and Forney found me, thankfully.
We're going to talk more about that journey here in a few minutes.
Yeah, I've been here for a year, and it has been a good change, not just for me, but for my family. I'm the oldest of 3, married to my husband 14 years, who's also the oldest of 3. So we take care of our brothers, and now it's us and our dogs. Now that my brothers are bigger, and we have our godchildren, and we spend time together. We say we're hanging out. It's been 20 years, knock on wood, we get another 20 more. And yeah, I mean, I like to help people. Being an operations manager, you help all departments every single day. So landing in this career has been a positive change for me and my family, in all shapes and forms.
Yeah. A couple of things that I hear out of that. One of the things I know about you is that you love your family and you love investing in others. So 20 years married?
20 years together, 14 years married.
Okay.
Yes.
How long have you been married?
36 years. Put me
30?
on the spot.
No, it's good.
Jeez.
Me and my wife will be 24 this coming fall. And so
Congratulations.
I know being together for that long, 36 years, 24 years, 20 years, that's a huge feat right there.
Yes.
And something to be celebrated. So just hit 1 year. I know you've had a lot of growth during this process, been a lot of transitions, a lot of things that have been part of the discussion. We want to kind of hear about your journey. But I know, Ralph, you had some special things that you wanted to kind of
did.
share.
So, one of the things I wanted, Elizabeth, I love to highlight people and the accomplishments and what they're doing, the people behind the scenes and recognizing them for they don't get a whole lot of kudos during the day. The guys we just got to before Nick came in here to talk about some of the people that you have so much respect for in the company. And I wanted to I took it on myself to ask your peers what they respect about you and what value you bring to their lives. And so I went to your peers in the company and I asked them that question. And some people, when you ask this question, sometimes you have to ask a couple times because people, not with you. They came in volume, and I had to edit. It was pages of stuff. So I'm gonna read those to you.
Okay,
So,
take a deep breath. I know you're going to hate this. I know and the reason you're going to hate this is because you're a great leader who leads with humility. And that's a core value of who we are. And so you're like blood pressure went up. I saw it.
I'm like, my hands started like,
oh yeah, it's like
I'm
what?
nervous. Yeah.
But those are the things that really make Ralph so great. And what we want to do in this is to be able to give some shout outs to people who are really making a difference. And Ralph, being able to talk to people and hearing directly from people that you work with. Ralph, go ahead.
And just in 1 year, people that haven't worked for you long and people who worked for you for years had these things to say. So it was amazing. So I'm gonna go. So the greatest compliment came out of not from one specific feedback or story, but from the consistency of everyone's responses. I was shocked by that. Regardless of the department or the role, people shared the same experience with Elizabeth. Elizabeth makes you feel better, makes people feel valued, and she leaves a lasting impact on everyone she works with.
It's the heart of the company right there.
Yeah, it is. In 1 year, this is the things that people said about her. Let me read what your peer said. Some people make a difference because of what they accomplish. Others make a difference because of who they are. Elizabeth does both. Across every response, the same qualities surfaced again and again and again. Elizabeth's someone you can count on, whether it's answering the phone, following through on a commitment, tackling a challenge head on. She consistently delivers. If she sees something needs to be done, she'll get it done. She communicates with clarity and confidence. In an environment where priorities change quickly, Elizabeth keeps everyone informed, adapts on the fly, and makes sure that problems are addressed before they become bigger problems. Her professionalism gives her confidence. What stands out just as much is how deeply she cares about people. She listens even when she doesn't have the time. She is there for others, even when it isn't part of her job description. She builds relationships across every level of the organization, from leadership to warehouse, earning respect through authenticity, kindness, and genuine concern for others.
Wow.
Yeah. That was like that whole page.
I think that says so much about your character, who you are, how people view you, and the culture that we're trying to create. And that's a big part of what we're going to talk about today is what is culture? What does that mean? And what does it mean to transition from one business to another? And why culture is so important. I mean, you've talked about this. Me and Ralph have talked about this. We're going to talk about culture over and over and over because it is so important to the health and the speed of the organization. And so hearing those things, what it makes me realize is so important, who we hire and who we allow on the team is critical to how we go about business. Right? And so I wanted to give you a chance to kind of process that. Yeah.
One, I'm sorry, I'm still a little catching my breath a little bit. Culture is so important. I've worked a few places now where I've seen it fall.
Mm.
I've worked at a lot of places where it started off bad and no one's really, they're saying the words but not putting in the work. And when you step into a situation where someone backs up what they say, it's a breath of fresh air. It makes your workday easier. It makes going to your team easier. And even when you have to have those hard days, there's not a question of whether or not you're going to get through it. We're going to get through this together. We're going to knock it out. We're going to bang it out. You know, whatever. We're going to rally. We're going to rally.
Are you saying there's some days that are hard days?
We're
Yeah.
in service. I mean, at the
Yeah.
end of the day, we're still a service industry, driven industry. We have customers. We're never going to have the same day. We're never going to have the same weather on the same, back to back. It's Texas. Yay. So we know we're going to have to pivot several times throughout the day. So as long as I can help bring as much stability to the playing fields in that, all I ask is that my guys try and that they are nice to each other, because I think that's the most I can do for our culture is like, I can try if you try for me. Because my boss is trying for me and I feel my boss trying for me and I feel Rex trying for all of us. And, you making sure this is at the forefront of our mind every day, Ralph, like that is all I need, like to know, like, okay, so like I'm not trying in vain. I'm not climbing up this hill myself. We're doing this together and we're going to get there. But yeah, it's not always easy, but it's not draining.
I know what you need. You know what I need, and we believe in each other.
Yes.
And we're going to, no matter what comes at us, we're going to get it done.
Yeah.
So when we talk about culture, I thought it's really important that, this is episode 3, that we kind of talk about what's the definition that we're using for culture. What does that actually mean? And there's all kinds of definitions for business culture and team culture and all these kind of things. And sometimes I'm not real smart, so I have to make it my own definition so it makes sense to me. So I'm just going to tell you what my definition is. Well, John Maxwell says culture is the invisible personality of the organization. But for me, that is the culture is the culmination. It's all of the common dreams, the common goals, the common sacrifice that everyone's willing to make to achieve that common goal. Right? It's the goals, the dreams of all of us, the sacrifice that all of us are making in order to achieve something better. Culture defines how healthy we are. It determines how fast we go. It's the standard of the written and unwritten rules.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So some rules are written, but it's also the unwritten rules of not only what do we promote, but sometimes what do we allow and what do we not allow?
And what do we not, cutting off where it needs to be.
Yeah. And so I think that's incredibly important that we at least have some common language of what culture is. So it's the culmination of the goals, dreams, and sacrifices everyone's willing to make in order to achieve something greater.
Right.
Does that work?
Yep.
Okay.
It
so
works.
that's my made up definition. I'm sure as we go through the Foundry year and find out, I make up a lot of words. And so just because there's all these definitions out there, I need to be able to simplify it in my head in order for me to be able to communicate to others. So you've been here for a year.
Mm-hmm.
What's been the thing that you did not expect going through that transition?
I mean, I wasn't expecting it all to be true. Like, so I had my interview with JB, and the first interview that we had, it was, he was asking me like what I did in a day, so I told him like, well, here lately, this is what my day-to-day looks like and what I do. And then we had the follow-up interview and he's showing me around Forney, and he's like, well, here we would, we work as a team, we work as this. And there was a part of where I was already at that I was just like, okay, like I know what we say to get somebody in the door kind of thing. And, if I just get, if 50% of it is real, it's a step up from where I'm coming from right now,
Yeah.
So I went for it, and I can't remember if it was something where I had a family event come up, and I had to take a day off, and it was like, JB was like, yeah, go, we got you. And I was like, okay, I stayed till the absolute last minute of when I had to go and then left. And then I came back expecting just to come back to everything that I left behind and, whatever I missed. And it was like, no, I said, we got you. It's like, oh, okay. Wait. Okay. So this is the one time I was like, okay, I'm still kind of new. So, like new car smell, right? Like maybe we're just still trying to make sure we're good. And then again, like, holidays coming around, like, okay, Jeff was like, no, come in a little later. He was coming in a little earlier. And Jeff Wright, my dispatch, and something happened. He was like, no, I did this. I just need you to do this part. Oh, okay. So it was just that's what I wasn't expecting people to say, oh, hey, no, I got you. And then really follow up with it. And when they couldn't get something because either, they just didn't know how to do it, or, hey, they went to somebody else and try, and here's all this done. So it's like, I'm coming back. Just those days of like me taking a day off. I recently lost a friend in April and I had to take off some days, and I always have that panic of like, well, what if somebody needs my help or something? And just to have my team just be like, hey, we got you. Go breathe. Go be with your family. Go be with your husband right now. And to know that that's true, oh my gosh, it makes the world of difference, not just to who you are at work, but just when you go home. So that to me was the best thing, the best unexpected thing that people should have at work, but we rarely do. And where we go to work.
Yeah. Well, when we think about it, you've had this conversation that every company has their own set of written and unwritten rules. And what you said is most people go into jobs and they don't believe them, right? It's like a first date. Mm-hmm. Everybody puts on their best personality and they try to make it look all good, but then that's not reality. How have you seen that play out either with Forney Fence or outside companies?
Well, yeah, okay. Tell me your question again.
The bait and switch that most companies have, that we're going to hold to this standard, but really that's not who we are.
Yeah, what they put in publication on their mission statement is just it's at the top, but it's not throughout their organization.
Right.
It's just what the owner or the leaders of the company want to say, and they go have they put this thing together, and then it's never played out in the lives of the people that are that are out there actually doing the work every day. And so that's been my experience, is that most of these are, where the people put mission statements together and core values. But ours, I feel like, was done organically, and there was a lot of thought put into it about what we want our core values and what our mission to be. The personal, spiritual, and professional development of everyone we encounter, starting with our people.
That's right.
And so the passion for that goes out to every single person, whether they've been here a day or they've been here 30, 20 years.
And right? I think it's a manageable, tangible mission statement too. Like, I can tell myself whether or not did I try to make a difference with somebody. You can go up to somebody and say hi, ask them how they're doing. Like, you can do this every single day.
Yeah.
That's good. Hey, if you're watching this, down there in the comments, we just want you to put a comment. What was one thing, maybe you've been Forney less than a year, maybe it's 2 or 3 years. When you came to Forney Fence, what was the thing that you did not expect to be real or true? What was the thing that you weren't expecting and it was so much better than you had really hoped for or expected? Put that down in the comments and we're going to continue to discuss it. So, Elizabeth, one of the things that me and you talked about, mm-hmm. and you came to me and you said, hey, I need some time to talk through a situation. And we were talking through it, and your biggest issue, and we talked about this, and me and you gave me some permission to be able to have this conversation and to expose kind of your story. But it was this idea of, can I really trust management and leadership?
Right.
And you were put in a position that you needed to be able to hold the standard, mm-hmm. raise the expectations for the team that you lead. And you were wondering, will they have my back when I push someone hard?
Yes. So we had just rolled out new policies and procedures, it's really trying to help dispatch just get some more structure. It helps us. It helps everybody down the line. And you do have to get people to buy into that, but old habits are hard to break. And there were just some people not wanting to, I don't know if it's not wanting to adhere to it or just like, okay, they said it. What's the follow through actually going to be?
Sure.
And when I said, look, I came to Nick and I was like, I know what I want to do and what needs to be done in my mind, but am I going to get that backup from JB and he was like, absolutely. And it takes this weight off your shoulder because I'm not trying to ruffle feathers and on a personal level, I'm trying to get something done that I think needs to be done or that the team needs to be done or just to illustrate, there's always this push and pull with sales and warehouse, right? So like, what's that balance to make them work together? And this structure can work on both sides. It can benefit both sides of having just a schedule for so many things. And I was just nervous and Nick was just like, well, go to JB. And it was like, yeah, we said this. We said we were going to back this. And even when it comes to having to do just write-ups for correct, disciplinary actions, I'm not worried that I'm going to say, hey, this guy's kind of messing up or this person's not doing what they need to be done. And it's just like, oh, okay. Because that's super discouraging even as a manager to just
Right.
like my hands are tied and okay, there's rules for you, but not this person. That breeds, a toxic work environment. So to have that just immediately, I mean, that was probably within my first 3 months of working here, just to have that known immediately, like, no, my immediate boss is going to have my back when I say something that makes sense, is just,
And it's the standard that we've set in
yes,
place.
was it just like from then on, I've just been like, okay, like, and then I don't necessarily need to go to Nick to talk to JB. I can just go talk to JB. And, it was.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but this was a new position created
Yes.
Was.
for our company, and with a lot of growth in locations across the state. We went from 3 to 5 in 18 months, and our volume has more than doubled, sales volume, and the people, the human count, the people, and that was a new position created. So she had to come in and establish procedures and processes, and then just win people over, right? Because she was coming in new, and it's like no one likes change. We don't.
No.
I mean,
Right.
we could literally yell down the hall 5 years ago, 3 years ago, yell down the hall and get an answer to something. Now you got other people to consider. You got Mike in Buda, and you got Junior in Austin. I mean, in San Antonio, and you got Jimmy out in Willow Park, and and so keep them connected to the company.
That's right.
And feel a part of the company and feel like they're not marginalized. She's done an exceptional job.
Yeah. This trust of do people have my back? Can I say, y'all told me the standard was this. Can I actually hold people to that standard? No one wants themselves to be held accountable. I want you to be held accountable, and I want you to be held accountable,
Right.
but I don't want to be held accountable.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right. And so what happens in that is that by keeping people accountable, even if there's disciplinary, it's not to have discipline. It's in order that everyone knows here's the standard, here's the bar. And so if me and Ralph are killing ourselves and you're always the lowest person on the team, well, we're having to pick up your slack and there's no
Right.
consequences for you. So why would you ever change?
Right. Exactly. Why would I ever change? And then why would you want to continue to pull all that weight for me?
Mm-hmm.
And, when you take a hardworking employee and just like, oh yeah, like, thank you for working hard while everyone else that's over here, you're not going to get to keep that great employee long. They're going to go find somewhere where they're appreciated, or they're going to go find somewhere that's closer to home just because they're not going to want to go there. They're going to find a reason. People don't leave jobs. People leave bad management. It's
Absolutely.
100% true across the board. You don't leave jobs, you leave bad management. And I'm when I saw that I could hold people accountable, yeah, it is this like kind of to I can build an A team here if like, so let me try.
Yeah.
Let me try. Um
Well, you're not trying, you're
so
doing.
thank
You are
you.
doing it. And so just think about that it is raising the standard. That's what culture is. We're raising the standard of the expectations for everyone. That everyone wants to show up at work. And that's not true for every company. That's not true for every position ever. I read this thing last week and it said it was a 2022 survey. And it said 68% of people say they hate their job. Literally,
68.
it's not
Yeah.
that they don't
Probably.
like their job, they
Yeah.
hate their job. And what we're trying to create is this culture that people want to work here. Our competitors want to come work here. Our people that are going, man, I've heard great things. You need to come work for our company. And people want the best people here.
Right.
And that's the culture we're trying to create.
Yeah, and people don't stay together forever. I mean, and Elizabeth, of all the positions in the company, her and Jeff, and the guys that run the locations out there, they know that people they're going to lose people so they know they're growing people to leave to go do greater things somewhere else.
Yeah.
And that's that, and they do it well, and they know that and expect that, and they want to keep everybody, but that's just a normal part of your position, right?
Yes.
Just to people, young guys learn to drive forklifts and stock and drive trucks, and then they go find new opportunities. So
Yep. And that's part of it. I'm working on this thing and I'm not really worked it all out and all the details, but when you go from good to great, your competition wants to come work for you.
Mm-hmm.
When you go from great to really elite, you start creating a place that everyone around you is getting better and the team is really strengthened. But when you go from elite to legendary, your best people get hired for high level jobs at the places. And there actually becomes more turnover. And it's the whole idea of Nick Saban. How many coaches became head coaches under Nick Saban?
Mm-hmm.
That's leadership. That's creating something that's legendary. And that's what we want to create. Right now, we're at this elite stage that some of the best people around the state want to come work at Forney Fence. You're one of those, right?
Yep.
And you go, I want to go be a part of this. And that begins changing the game because people like working here. And that's one of the things we really want to continue to build. So when thinking through all this, what is something you want people who are on the fence for Forney Fence? Can I trust? Can I hold a standard? Can I push? Can I get better? Maybe they're new to Forney Fence. They're wondering what it's going to look like. What would you want everyone across Forney Fence to hear about your experience and the culture we're creating?
So personally, like, if you're anything like me, I can pigeonhole myself. I can say, okay, like, I keep trying, and if I'm not getting anywhere, I do is you pull back. You pull back eventually. If you try here, if you see something in a way that you can make it better, bring it to the table immediately. Someone's gonna listen, and either they're gonna bring their opinions because, hey, maybe we've tried it and it didn't work, but I like where your thought process is, or they're gonna say, okay, like, hey, let's look into that, and it's gonna be taken seriously, and we're gonna look into that. Whether that's you're a guy on the yard too, or a salesperson or a sales manager, an operations manager, the higher ups, there's not that barrier of the higher ups and the guys working on the yard. You know what I mean? It's JB goes and he tries to say hi to everybody. I go and I try to say hi to everybody. Amanda takes care of everybody. I'm trying, Ralph goes out there and tries to meet with somebody's new. Like it's that, I'm stumbling on my words. I'm sorry, but
Oh, you're doing great.
it's that intentional. Let me get to meet everybody who's working with me, because we're all working with one another. And we recently had the cookout, right? We had our 4th of July cookout, and it was kind of funny because I had my godson working with us this summer, and I was like, hey, Mijo, they're gonna cook for us, and he goes, no, but their whole family's here cooking for us, BB. It's like a little family reunion outside. Can I sit for a little bit longer? And I was just like, yeah, go ahead. So it was nice too, like just that. It's this, we all have our family. We all want to go back home and get to our family. And so when your whole company knows the core values of who we as people, I don't want to say should be, but in definitely my mind of who I should be, we're all working for our families. We're all working for our individual dreams. And when that can be recognized, that like you as an individual working for our team, we are going to try to help you have your best individual life. That is what I would say, why I would say buy into Foreign Events, because that's what keeps me coming back every day. Like I feel like my individual dream of taking care of my family is being nourished by working with like-minded people in that aspect.
Yeah. No one goes home and kicks the dog because they're mad at the dog.
Right.
It's because they're tired of their boss. They're tired of the people they work with. They're tired of the systems and culture that they're a part of. And so you take all that stuff home. Right. And so we want to continue to raise that bar. That one thing, just think about that, is we've recently had, talking to one of the managers, and don't want to tell what location that was at, but they had someone tell them, hey, we don't need to keep this person. Someone in the yard told the manager, this person doesn't need to be on our team. And that's when culture is actually created.
Yeah.
When everyone says, that's not someone who's up to our standard. That's not someone who wants my best. They're making me work harder because they want to work less.
Yeah.
And so by raising the standard, everyone holds that mantle. Everyone carries that weight with them. And everyone is empowered to go, hey, we've got to have a conversation.
Yes.
Healthy conflict and clarity. I mean, I feel like that's what we have. That's what we're continue to work on.
Yeah.
We're not ever going to get there completely, but you can dissent here without
Absolutely.
getting a wet blanket thrown over you and ushered out.
Well, because one of the things that's great is ownership and executive leadership team. No one thinks they're the only ones that have great ideas. Mm-hmm. And that's what creates great companies, great organizations, is because everybody can add value.
But you can't do that unless you know their story and you know their likes and their dislikes, and you genuinely care about them. You can't have that.
Yeah.
If that's not present in the company, and that has to be baked. And it has to be baked when it's raining, and it has to be baked when a load falls off.
And it's 114 in San Antonio.
Right. Or it has to be
my
baked.
goodness.
And so in all that mess, it's where we live life out at Born Defensible.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you so much for being part of the Forge today. We're going to continue to work to add value to you and impact the personal, professional, and spiritual lives of everyone that's on the team and everyone that we encounter. Here's what we want you to do. Take a second down there in the comments, put something that was your biggest takeaway. What did this mean to you? What was something that you would just want to give Elizabeth a shout out for, and maybe just continue to develop? How do you need to take your next step to learn, grow, and be better, and continue to make an impact right here at Point Defense? We'll see you next week on The Forge.